Folks, there's a real opportunity in 2025 to drown in more debt. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending January the 1st, 2025. More debt, 2025. You know, when I think of real estate and as we start the year off, I'm thinking, okay, so December 15th, the end of last year, a whole bunch of new rules came into effect. Rules affecting mortgage and qualifying and so forth and amortization. So they took effect December 15th, but we really didn't see any kind of change in the market because it's, we're headed into the holiday season shortly after that. But now that we're starting 2025, it's this year that we're going to see how these new rules have affected or will affect our real estate market. So this is what I'm thinking, and I'm not sure how these rules are going to play out. I can't specifically say with certainty, but let me share one of my thoughts with you, and that's specifically related to the rule of minimum 20% down payment, that rule being moved from $1 million to $1.5 million. So in the past, you could less than $1 million buy with less than 20% down. Now that goalpost has been moved to 1.5 million. So when I think of York Region, and on this show, for the numbers, I'm specifically focused on Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. And I look at 2024 for a detached property. There was over 3,700 detached properties sold in those three cities in 2024. 9 of those were less than $1 million. 9. So 9 people were out of 3,700 plus were able to buy with less than 20% down. So 9 out of 3,700, that's virtually nobody. However, now that the rule has changed to you can buy with less than 20% down up to 1.5 million, no longer 1 million, but up to 1.5 million. Well, I can tell you in Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham, 1/3 of those 3,700 plus sales were sold for less than 1.5 million. So from virtually nobody being affected to 1/3 of all sales in Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham for detached properties. Remember, I'm only talking about that. The change, the amount of people that could be affected is massive. That's a big change from 2024 to 2025. I know sellers I'm speaking with are talking about that. I know they're thinking, why would sellers? I know many people thinking, well, this is a buyer thing. It affects the buyers. They're the ones buying. They don't need 20% anymore, less than 1.5. Well, the sellers are looking at it as, or should be looking at it as, the potential, the buyer pool is now greater for them. So I know sellers are looking at, what about sellers that have tried to sell in 2024? They've been, they're priced at 1,550, 1,575. Are they maybe considering bringing their prices under 1.5 to attract a greater buyer pool? I know some of them are. There's all sorts of ways that this rule can affect the market. If more buyers take advantage of this, well, that would mean more buyers are taking on way more debt than what they were allowed to do before. So this rule change does have the potential to increase sales, does have the potential to get buyers to buy what they couldn't buy before. But if that's the case, if buyers do take advantage of this, you're going to have more buyers than ever before taking on way more debt. You're talking million plus mortgages in a lot of situations here. Could you think about that for a second? That's massive debt if these buyers qualify, because there's the other question mark. If these buyers qualify, are they actually going to do that? Are they going to move forward with this type of purchase? So this is what's on my mind. How will this new rule change affect our real estate? And I have more questions than answers right now. We'll see how it plays out. I'd love to hear your comments below. This rule changes specifically, it seems, poised to affect the Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham areas more than many of the other areas in the GTA, just because virtually nobody could buy before, and now up to a third of all sales will be affected. Whereas other areas, if you look at, say, Mississauga or Brampton or Peel region, even Toronto, there's a lot more homes detached selling for less than $1 million. But Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham, virtually none. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link up here, another one below. It's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, welcome back. Happy New Year. It's 2025. These are your York region numbers. If you've been watching any of our other shows this week, you know I've been saying over and over again, do not take these current numbers so serious. We're going to present you the numbers, but it's not really indicative of where the market actually is. These are holiday season numbers. For this week, these are week ending January 1st numbers. So we're going to be focused on detached properties for Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. Vaughan and Markham way down here. They're off the charts, actually. Richmond Hill held steady, actually, to where it was before. We're going to start off with Vaughan. For week ending January the 1st, 2 detached properties sold. None of those properties were at $2 million or more, but only 2 sold. The previous week, 12 sold. Now, normally we see kind of sales trending down over the second part of the fall season. The first part of the fall season, sales tend to go up, then they come down. Not so much here. We did see them kind of creep up a bit, but then they, especially over middle of November, they kind of stayed pretty steady across Vaughan. 20, 25, 29 selling every single week. And then boom, week ending December 25th, they dropped to 12. Week ending January the 1st. That's it. Just 2 detached properties sold. Average sold price could have gone either way. Imagine if those 2 sales were in the $2 million or more range, then average sold price would be off the chart. But at the top end of the chart, well, these were at the lower end. Average sold price is $1,135,000 for the 2 that actually sold. So that's why I'm saying don't take these numbers so serious. Compared to last year, I don't even want to say, but I'm going to say it's 30% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. But don't take them so serious. Median price, way lower also, 25% lower. Of the 2 that sold, neither one sold at list price or more. But before that, over November, most of December, we're hovering around 20, 25% or so selling at list price or more. Listings trending down towards the end of the year, which is normal. We see that every year. Active listings trending down also. That doesn't mean because active listings is trending down, it doesn't necessarily mean these properties are being purchased. We know these listings are not being purchased because I'm going to go back. These were the sales, 25, 29, 28, 12, 2. Active listings, though, is 400, 300. So they're not being sold. they are expiring or coming off the market for one reason or another, we will see a lot of those back on the market this year. Months of inventory, prior to these last couple of weeks, months of inventory seem to have been trending down to where we're sitting around 3, 2.9. But for this week ending, because there was only 2 sales, the math kind of works out. The months of inventory is sitting at 27.8. Do not take that. Do not make a headline out of this. Wow, what's going on in Vaughan? These are holiday season numbers. Here's Richmond Hill. 3 properties sold in Richmond Hill. 3 detached properties sold. None of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price, $1,770,000, which is 3% lower year over year. But remember, just 3 properties we're basing the average on. Median price is 1% higher. None of those properties sold at list price or more. Active listings trending down. Listings trending down. Months of inventory way up there at 17.5. Not a true indication of where the market actually is as it wakes up over the next few weeks. Here's Markham. 5. Markham was the high roller. 5 detached properties were sold. No properties sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price way down to $1,447,000. 1,447, 31% lower. Median price 32% lower. 5 were sold. 20% of those, which isn't a lot. You know, any percentage of a real null number is still a low number. 20% sold at list price or more. 11 were listed. Active listings coming down. Months of inventory, no surprise, way up there at 9. It's based on only 5 sales. Here's a summary of months of inventory. Folks, let's use these next couple of weeks as kind of, let's keep an eye. Let's see how the market changes from here as it starts waking up and 2025 is here and the market starts waking up and things start rolling. Let's see where we're going. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year. Have an awesome day.